Good morning, campers. Welcome back. This is Miss Jackson, and this week is Animal Week. So hopefully you all are enjoying yourselves with learning all the information about animals, and we're going to get right into our lesson today, which will be learning about fractions. So today I'm going to introduce and review some fraction details. And then later on this week, we're gonna come back, because I didn't forget about powers of 10, and we're gonna come back to our powers of 10s. All right, let's get started. All right, so fractions. A fraction, when it's written out, has a top and a bottom piece, but we don't call that top and bottom. This is the correct terminology. Numerator is the top half of a fraction. The number that's written up there is called your numerator, and the bottom is called your denominator. Okay, so we have a numerator over a denominator. Okay, now a fraction represents part of a whole. So that's what a fraction is. It's part of a whole. Your numerator over your denominator. So your denominator value should represent your whole value. Your numerator value, what goes at the top, will represent the part. So I'm going to demonstrate in both picture using shapes and then also on a number line. So let's say we had a square here, and my square was split into 4 pieces. Okay, so this square split into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. How many pieces is it being split into? 4. 4 would represent our whole. So that is my denominator. It's split into 4 pieces. Okay, when I put those 4 pieces together, I get one whole. So that's where the whole comes from. Now, if I decided to shade and I'm showing you like this because not necessarily will you see the shading being done consecutively in a row. Okay, so you may see an image where there's a spot that's missing shade. It doesn't mean anything. They just want you to pay attention. So out of my 4 whole pieces, how many are actually shaded? 3. So 3 is my numerator. So this is my part of my whole, and the whole came from 4 pieces because my whole square was split into 4 equal pieces. And out of the 4 equal pieces that it was split into, 3 were shaded. Okay, so this is read 3/4, and it's written like this: 3-4. So this is an example of a fraction in shape format. This is how it looks written as a fraction with your numerator over your denominator. And then this is what it looks like written in word form. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the same concept, but looking at it on a number line. So if I had a number line, generally your number lines start with 0, okay? And my number line is gonna end in 1 because my 1 is going to represent one whole. That's the bottom, our denominator. So if I had 0 here and 1 whole here, and I wanna make this number line image this fraction, which is 3/4, that means from 0 to 1, I should count 4 times. So I will put 3 ticks here. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to explain to you how this number line is in fourths. So how do you know how to find out the fraction part of your number line? We're going to count. Okay, so you start at 0 and then you just hop over and count to every tick mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it took us 4 hops before we got to 1 whole. So I know that this number line is in fourths. Now if there was a 1 here, that means that would be thirds because it's 3 hops. If the 1 was here, this number line would be in halves because it's 2 hops. Okay, so I want to make my number line represent 3/4. I know it's already in fourths because from 0 to 1 there were 1, 2, 3, 4 hops. Okay, so to represent 3/4, I would shade. And on your number line, you'll see it looking like this. That's 1/4, that's 2/4, and that's 3/4. So if you saw a number line shaded like so, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that represents 3/4. And you can also place that there on a number line. Now I want to take you back using the same number line and go in depth. If I hop 1 time out of my total of 4, that fraction is 1/4. And if you notice, I wrote it differently here. It's the same thing, okay? 3/4 can also be written 3/4. You'll see it written both ways. It's the same thing, numerator over denominator. Now if I hop 2 times, 1/4, 2/4, this would be my 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4. Okay, so now I want to stop and just look at 2 out of 4. I'm gonna put a little dash in between. Know we got a lot going on, but why not learn it all at once? Okay, so in here, if you notice, that is my number line split in half. So 2/4 is also equivalent, means it's equal. The word equivalent means equal. That's what equivalent means. All right, so 2/4 is also equal to 1/2. 2/4 is the same thing as saying 1/2 because it's half of my fourths, half of my whole. Okay, so just a quick review. We learned fraction is part of a whole. It's written numerator over denominator. It can be expressed in fraction form, word form, picture form, or number line form. And lastly, we went over the word equivalent. So tomorrow when I see you, we're gonna go in depth with understanding more about fractions. And don't forget, believe in yourself. See you tomorrow, bye.